The declaration of faith in Islam, known as Shahada, is the first of the 5 pillars of Islam. It is considered the most basic and essential aspects of a person's faith in Islam. The Shahada consists of 2 parts: the declaration of oneness of God, Tawheed, and the declaration of prophethood of Muhammad Rasul, be peace upon him. The declaration is La ilaha illallahu Muhammadur Rasulallah, which means there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad, be peace upon him, is the messenger of Allah. The declaration of Tawheed, the oneness of God, is a fundamental principle in Islam. It affirms that there is only one God and that He is the only one who should be worshipped. This declaration is considered the foundation of Islam, and all other principles of the faith are based on it. The declaration of prophethood of Muhammad, be peace upon him, is also an important aspect of Shahada. It affirms that Muhammad is the last and the final prophet of God, and that he has brought the final and complete revelation of God's will and guidance to humanity. This declaration confirms the belief that Muhammad is the last prophet of God, and he is the final messenger who has completed the chain of prophethood. The Shahada is considered the most fundamental declaration of faith in Islam, and it is considered one of the 5 pillars of Islam because it is considered the foundation of the faith. It is considered as an affirmation of the belief in the oneness of God, the belief in the prophethood of Muhammad, be peace upon him, and the belief in the Quran as the word of God. Reciting the Shahada is considered the first step in converting to Islam, and it is considered as the most important act of worship for a Muslim. The 5 daily prayers or Salah are one of the 5 pillars of Islam and considered a mandatory act of worship for all adults Muslim. The 5 daily prayers are performed at specific times throughout the day, and they are an opportunity for Muslim to connect with God, express gratitude and humility, and seek guidance and forgiveness. The 5 prayers are: Fajr. This prayer is performed before sunrise and is considered the first prayer of the day. Zohar. This prayer is performed in the early afternoon after the sun has passed its zenith. Asr. This prayer is performed in the late afternoon just before sunset. Maghrib. This prayer is performed immediately after sunset. Isha. This prayer is performed after the Maghrib prayer, typically in the early evening. Each of these prayers consists of a specific number of units called rakas, which include standing, bowing, prostrating, and sitting. Each of these postures are accompanied by specific verses of the Quran. The prayers are preceded by a purification ritual called wuzu, and it is a way of purifying oneself before one communes with God. In addition to the physical movement and recitation, Salah is also an opportunity for personal reflection and contemplation. It is a way of connecting with God, expressing gratitude and humility, and seeking guidance and forgiveness. It is a way of keeping oneself grounded and focused on the purpose of life and the hereafter. The 5 daily prayers are an important aspect of Islamic faith and are considered an opportunity for Muslims to connect with God and to maintain a sense of discipline and spiritual well-being. It's an act of worship that is performed 5 times a day, and it's a means of maintaining a consistent relationship with God as well as a means of purifying oneself. Prayer or Salah is considered an essential act of worship in Islam and is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Prayer also helps to develop discipline and self-control, as Muslims are required to perform the 5 daily prayers at a specific time throughout the day. It requires a person to be punctual. It requires one to be aware of the time and to be present in the moment. It helps to train one's mind to be focused on the task at hand and to be mindful of one's surroundings. Prayer also serves as a reminder of one's accountability to God. It serves as a reminder that one is not alone in the world, that one is not the center of the universe. It is a means of humbling oneself before God, and it serves as a reminder that one is dependent on God for everything. In addition, prayer is seen as a means of forgiveness and purification. It's a way of asking for forgiveness for one's sin, and it's a way of purifying oneself from the negative effect of one's action. Establishing a prayer routine can be beneficial for maintaining a consistent and personal relationship with God and for developing discipline and spiritual well-being. Here are some tips for establishing a prayer routine. Designate specific times for each of the 5 daily prayers and make sure to stick to them. The prayers are Fajr before sunrise, Zohar midday, Asr mid-afternoon, Maghrib after sunset, and Isha night. Plan ahead and make a schedule for the day. Make sure to set aside enough time for each prayer, including the time for the purification ritual of wuzu. Make prayer a priority in your day and avoid letting other tasks or activities interfere with your prayer schedule. Set an alarm or reminder on your phone or watch to remind you to pray. This will help you to stay on track. Try to perform the prayers at the same time each day and make it a part of your daily routine. This will help you to develop a sense of discipline and consistency. Learn the meaning and significance of the prayers and try to understand the verses that you are reciting. This will help you to connect with the prayers on a deeper level. Take a few moments after each prayer to reflect and contemplate. This can be a time for personal reflection and contemplation, and it can help you to bring a sense of peace and spiritual well-being. If you are having trouble establishing a prayer routine, seek help and guidance from a trusted religion leader or mentor. Consistency is key, and it may take time to establish a prayer routine. Be patient with yourself and keep trying. It will become easier with time. Establishing a prayer routine involves setting specific times for each of the 5 daily prayers, creating a schedule, making it a priority, creating a comfortable prayer space, using an alarm or reminder, having a consistent routine, learning and understanding the prayers, reflecting and contemplating, seeking help and guidance if needed, and staying consistent and be patient. Zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and it is a form of charitable giving that is required of Muslims who are financially able. The word zakat literally means purification, and it is considered a purification of one's wealth. The purpose of zakat is to provide for the needs of the poor and to promote social justice. Zakat is considered as a percentage of a Muslim wealth known as nisab, which is 2.5% of one's savings and assets that have been held for a full lunar year. The amount of zakat one is obliged to pay it 2.5% of the nisab. This includes money, gold, silver and other assets, but does not include things like a person's primary residence or necessary personal possessions. Zakat is seen as a way to purify one's wealth as well as a way to help those in need. It is also seen as a way to promote social justice and to redistribute wealth in society. Paying zakat is considered an act of worship, and it is seen as a way to purify one's wealth and bring blessing upon it. Giving to charity, also known as sadaqah, is an important aspect of Muslim faith and considered one of the 5 pillars of Islam. In Islam, giving to charity is seen as an act of worship and a way to purify one's wealth. The Quran and Hadith, the teaching of Prophet Muhammad, be peace upon him, emphasize the importance of giving to charity and helping those in need. One of the main reasons for the importance of giving to charity in Islam is that it is seen as a way to help the less fortunate and to promote social justice. The Quran teaches that those who give away their wealth in the cause of Allah and then follow it with patience will be rewarded with paradise. Giving to charity is seen as a way to help the poor and needy and to bring blessings upon one's own wealth. Another important aspect of giving to charity in Islam is that it is seen as a way to purify one's wealth and to earn God's forgiveness. The Prophet Muhammad, be peace upon him, said, "Charity does not decrease wealth." This means that giving to charity does not make one poor. It is a way to purify one's wealth and to earn God's forgiveness. In addition, giving to charity is seen as a way to balance the wealth in society and to promote social justice. Giving to charity is a way to help those who are less fortunate and to promote fairness in society. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar and is considered one of the most important months in the Islamic faith. During this month, Muslims around the world fast from sunrise to sunset, abstaining from food and drink as well as other physical needs and desires. This act of fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam and is mandatory for all adult Muslims. The purpose of fasting during Ramadan is to purify the soul and to develop self-discipline and self-control. It is also a time for spiritual reflection and growth as well as a time for increased devotion and worship. Muslims also use this month to read and reflect on the Quran and to increase their charitable giving. In addition to the physical fast, Muslims also make a conscious effort to control their thoughts and actions, abstaining from negative behaviors such as gossiping, lying, and anger. This helps to foster a sense of inner peace and humility and allows Muslims to focus on their relationship with God. In preparation for Ramadan, Muslim typically begins to focus on their spiritual well-being several weeks before the start of the month. This may include reading and studying about Ramadan, increasing prayer and other acts of worship, and making a conscious effort to reduce negative behavior. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims typically wake up early in the morning to eat a pre-dawn meal called suhoor and then begins the fast. They break the fast at sunset with a meal called iftar. Muslims also spend extra time in prayer and in the recitation of Quran during Ramadan. At the end of Ramadan, Muslims celebrate Eid al-Fitr, a joyous holiday that marks the end of the fast and the start of a new month. The importance of fasting in one's faith is that it is a means of self-purification. It helps to develop self-control and discipline, and it teaches empathy and compassion for those who are less fortunate. Fasting is also seen as a means of attaining closeness to God, as it is believed that during the fast, the believer's soul is cleansed and elevated. Fasting during Ramadan is not only about abstaining from food and drink, it is also about abstaining from negative behaviors and thoughts. It is a time to focus on one's faith, to strengthen one's relationship with God, and to improve one's character. As for preparing for Ramadan, there are several tips that can be helpful. Educating oneself about the Islamic laws and guidelines of fasting. Setting specific goal for the month, such as increasing one's prayer and Quranic reading. Creating a schedule for the month that includes time for prayer, Quranic reading, and other acts of worship. Making sure to have a healthy and balanced diet before and after fasting to ensure that the body is well nourished and hydrated during the fast. Building a support system with family and friends who will be fasting as well. Staying away from negative behaviors and thoughts such as gossiping or engaging in arguments during the fast. Fasting during Ramadan is a time for spiritual growth and self-improvement. It's not only about abstaining from food and drink, but it also about abstaining from negative behaviors and thoughts. With preparation and efforts, it can be a meaningful and transformative experience for one's faith. The Hajj is the annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca and is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It is a mandatory religious duty for Muslims that must be carried out at least once in their lifetime by all adult Muslims who are financially and physically capable of undertaking the journey. The Hajj takes place during the Islamic month of Dhul Hijjah and is a multi-day journey that includes several rituals and ceremonies, the most important of which is the standing at the Kaaba, the holiest site in Islam, which is located in the Grand Mosque in Mecca. The Hajj is a journey of self-reflection and devotion and humility. It is an opportunity for Muslims to purify their souls and to reconnect with their faith. It is also a time for unity and solidarity as Muslims from all over the world come together to perform the rituals of the Hajj. The Hajj is a symbolic journey that retraces the footsteps of the Prophet Ibrahim, peace upon him, and his family, who are considered the spiritual forefather of Islam. By following their footsteps, Muslims are reminded of the sacrifices and devotion of these early believers and are encouraged to follow their example. The rituals of Hajj include the standing at the Kaaba, the circumambulation of the Kaaba, the running between the hills of Safa and Marwa, the standing at the plain of Arafat, and the throwing of stones at the pillars of Mina. Each of these rituals is rich in meaning and significance and has been designed to help Muslims focus on their relationship with God and to purify their souls. The Hajj is considered one of the most important acts of worship in Islam and is a mandatory religious duty for all adult Muslims who are financially and physically capable of undertaking the journey. It is a time for Muslims to purify their souls, reconnect with their faith, and gain closeness to God. Performing the Hajj is an opportunity for Muslims to demonstrate their submission and devotion to God and to renew their spiritual commitment to the faith. It is also an opportunity to perform a collective act of worship as Muslims from all over the world come together in Mecca to perform the rituals of the Hajj. The Hajj is also an important time for reflection and self-evaluation. The journey, the rituals, and the atmosphere in Mecca during the Hajj all serve as powerful reminder of the transience of life and the importance of being mindful of one's action and thoughts. Furthermore, the Hajj is also a time for unity and solidarity as people from different backgrounds, cultures, and languages come together to perform the same ritual and to share in the same spiritual experience. This promotes a sense of community and brotherhood among Muslims and helps to reinforce the idea that regardless of our differences, we are all part of one global Muslim community. Additionally, the Hajj is also important for its social and economic impact. It is an opportunity to meet other Muslims from all over the world, and it is also a source of income for the local economy, which creates jobs and generates revenue. Planning and undertaking the Hajj can be a complex and challenging process, and it is important to be well informed and well prepared before embarking on the journey. First, it is important to make sure that you meet the basic requirements for the performing the Hajj. This include being physically and financially able to make the journey, being of sound mind and body, and having a valid passport and visa. Next, it is important to research the different options for Hajj packages and to choose one that best suits your need and budget. This include options for different level of accommodation, transportation, and meals plan. It is also important to familiarize yourself with the rituals and customs of the Hajj, such as the proper dress code, the timing of the different rituals, and the etiquette for interacting with other pilgrims. It is also important to be aware of the weather and the health conditions in Mecca during the Hajj and to prepare accordingly. This may include bringing appropriate clothing, sunscreen, and any necessary medications. Additionally, it is important to make sure that you have all the necessary documents such as your passport, visa, and proof of vaccination. Finally, it is important to be patient and flexible during the Hajj, as the crowds and the heat can be overwhelming at times. It is also important to be respectful of other pilgrims and to be mindful of your actions and words. There are many resources available for further learning and understanding of the 5 pillars of Islam. Some resources includes Quran and Hadith. These are the primary sources of Islamic teachings and provide guidance of the 5 pillars of Islam. Islamic scholars and imams. They can provide guidance and answer questions. Online resources. There are many websites, videos and podcasts that provide information and guidance. Books. There are many books written on the 5 pillars of Islam that provide information and guidance. Islamic classes and workshops. These provide opportunities to learn and understand the 5 pillars of Islam from experts in the field.